U.S. intelligence agency, mind control.
The Shah of Iran. There's a lot of apologia just because Iran is so bad right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be clear, okay? This is like comparing Stalin and Hitler or Lenin and Stalin, you know, like, if Hitler is the current regime, he's Stalin. If Stalin is the current regime, he's Lenin. You know, this guy was not good. He was not a good person. He is one of the worst leaders of the period.
Piece of shit.
And he is, I mean, that's why he's our fucking outro. This interview right here is literally like this interview. This is what our outro's from. When they talk about the megalomaniac, it's him. And he's like, oh, so you just don't like me because I won't do your interests, right? Which is like, he's kind of, it's like Gaddafi, right? He's very like Gaddafi and Saddam. They will say some Castro. They'll say some really fucking cool shit.
Yes.
Like, you know, like
iconic.
So, but I just want to be clear. While this is a cool as fuck moment from this guy, and he has a lot of savage on-camera moments, monster. Okay?
Well, there might be many reasons. One is that I don't know why you attach so much importance to this embargo on the United States, really.
Wow, I didn't check in advance. I just guessed, queued it up perfectly to where I wanted, where he starts instantly talking.
Should you care about that? You are not short of oil.
Have you seen the line?
He laughed, right? This guy laughed at him. You know? He says, you're not short of oil, and he laughs, thinking that, wow, what a ridiculous thing to say. This guy thinks we're not short of oil, right?
Lines of cars stretching for blocks, in some cases for miles.
Wow, must be nice to have cars that you can use that oil on, right? You know, like this guy, like he had like a complex going on, right? And this is partly what drove him to be like such a bad leader. The further along he got, is that he fundamentally believed when he came in that he wasn't ready for it. Like his dad was like a great hero. His dad was in the military, you know, like his dad helped build the empire, right? And he wants to feel like his dad, you know, like he wants to be this like military. He's like, you know, just like how Assad will go out there with the tanks and shit, you know? So he has this complex that he's never good enough for the job that eats away with him at him. And then as he cracks down on any criticism, he gets further away from like chasing this like dream of wanting to be like the leader who like is great and respected and makes the country. He's a megalomaniac in that way, just like Gaddafi or Trump, you know, same personality, all these guys.
Yeah.
This guy just wore a suit.
To get gas.
He was also a racist because like he did his whole race science thing. How we aren't even Arab. We're different from the Arabs. We're actually sophisticated people, right? And don't ever like I made a joke about Pega with this, and like, oh my god, don't even get into it.
She's intense.
Yeah.
The pictures,
and you cannot.
But you have imported more oil than any time in the past,
right? You understand what he means by that, right? Yeah. You might have lines of cars, but you're still importing more oil than you did last year, right? Because of capitalism's infinite growth, you have to sell more oil. The reason why there's an oil shortage is because they're not selling the surplus.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty. They're just not making enough money off it.
Yes, and the United States has oil reserves, too, that we can just release at any time.
Yeah.
Right? And the United States wasn't doing that.
Well, not recently, we haven't.
You have?
You mean we are still importing more oil than we were, let's say, in September? You believe that?
I can't say for sure. But what is certain is that you are not importing less.
Right? That's such a good line.
Good.
I can't say for sure if it's more, but you're not importing less, bro. Like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are. Like,
Then we were importing last September, then this whole thing is a fraud?
You know that ships are changing their destinations 2 or 3 times in the oceans?
like savage
What?
thing to bring up that shit. How like people are getting around sanctions to sell oil, right?
Mm.
That's what he's talking about. That's what they do. Like we charter ships out of Liberia, you
Yeah.
know? You know, like a lot of U.S. states, the state shipping and stuff that we're using to get around sanctions and shit,
Mm.
we're shipping them with Liberian flags on it. We still do it. Everyone does
Oh,
it. All
yeah.
the countries do it out of
Everyone,
Liberia.
yeah.
That's Liberia's, like, that's the reason it exists as a state, is for shipping.
Yeah, okay.
You sell the oil for a certain destination and it ends up somewhere else?
What you seem to be saying is that there is some fraud involved, that there is something going on that doesn't meet the eye.
Oh, something is going on for sure.
And who is being enriched by it?
No, he's laughing at the ridiculous question, right? Who's being enriched by
great.
it, right? And now he thinks what this guy is saying to him is funny. Because of course the oil companies are getting around these things. It's like they're not making less money, these oil companies.
Oil companies?
The oil companies.
You know that one oil company has made 67% interest this year and another one even more?
Well, the president of Aramco acknowledges.
Yes?
Not the president, the chairman of the board of Aramco acknowledged to us that their profits, the parent company, will go up by 400%
Yes.
next year, just as Iran's profits will go
Yes,
up by 400%.
but this is our wealth, our natural wealth. For them, it's only a question of manipulation.
So he's talking about the Arabs there. He's like, yeah, well, our natural wealth, but the Arabs, they're manipulating shit.
As you know, I have been across the Gulf.
Right? And like that's really all it is. But this is a funny line here, because he's trying to like be like, hey, you guys are different, you know. But the Shah is like such a fucking like supremacist that he just is like, actually, what you said offended me, and it wasn't a funny joke to me.
The Gulf that you call Persian and they call Arabian.
See, he's smiling. He's like trying to be like, you know, haha, you know, you call it
with
different things, right?
Yeah.
Why do you call it Gulf? You have been to school, or haven't you?
Yes.
What was the name that you have read during your school days?
Persian Gulf.
See, he's like dead staring at me. He's like, oh, that humor attempt did not go over well.
All right.
Trying to cut the tension. You're waiting for this guy to laugh, you know? It's like that's some mafia shit, you know? And when you see interviews with this guy, it feels like they're interviewing a fucking mob guy who's gonna like kill them.
It does.
Interview. And all I'm saying is, well, Saddam, Gaddafi, the Shah are all fucking monsters, all right? They would at least stand up instead of just pretending and LARPing like the current regime does, you know? It's not like they were any better as far as how they treated people or anything like that. But at least they would have known to be hard when they need to, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Iran acts like it's a fucking independent resistance front, but it's not. This guy was, and he was in their pockets, so to speak, you know? Like, people would say that. This guy doesn't give a fuck about America. You got money for me? Thank you. Tell me how great I am. This guy is Trump, you know? And I'm not saying endorsing Trump here, that because he's a different type of hard man. He hasn't this guy was a hard man throughout leadership. Trump just decided, I'm gonna be president one day after, you know, this guy was never a businessman before.
No.
So like, you know, somebody needs to fucking do something. That's why, like, my main criticism with Egypt right now too. What a pussy! Get that pussy out of there. You know, and even Turkey is LARPs with this while they fucking go and like man elsewhere. You know, and they fucking buy Israel's weapons.
Yeah.
And like this guy was considered pro-Israel, but he was helping with the embargo during OPEC.
Mhm.
Why? If he was so pro-Israel and in their pocket and an agent of America, why would he go along with this embargo? It's his money to make, right? Why not cheat the system? Well, Iran can capitalize on that market. Why not be the scabs in the oil market at the time?
True.
Okay. Anyway,
Team of
back to
analysts and,
you.
of course, each of our reporters who covers the campaigns. Laura Barone Lopez has been reporting on the Harris campaign.
Yeah.
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir? Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say? This secret study portrays as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests. He's an uncertain ally. Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?